which is kind of the last percentage of the votes. And those, I mean, they could potentially swing one way or the other, but there's a good chance that it might not do as huge of a shift as we would be hoping for some certain candidates.
Right. And then obviously, like, what we have taken to be the case in the Electoral College is Hillary Clinton has this firewall, right? So there's a bunch of states that if she wins all of those swing states, places like Michigan, Colorado, Virginia, then nothing else, none of the other swing states, then she's fine. And if she does win Ohio, North Carolina, or Florida, then she's more than fine. She's most likely going to win. Right now, it's looking like Trump might win. He's leading, at least in all three of those states that he needs, North Carolina, Ohio, and Florida, and possibly could be cutting into Virginia, or Michigan, or another state, New Hampshire. So it's performing worse than Obama did. So, Olivia, what do you think about this, like, the state of the race right now?
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that Trump is actually kind of getting close, because at the beginning of, like, even the day, it was kind of just like, oh, like, Hillary Clinton, like, has it unless all these things happen. And just, like, right now it looks like, I mean, they could happen. So I don't know. It's just kind of, like, weird, because it seems like all those, like, kind of, like, unlikely scenarios are becoming a little bit more viable. However, I would still definitely give her a good shot, because, like someone just mentioned the firewall, like, she doesn't need that much extra to win, whereas Trump needs all of these things. It's like when the Chargers go to the playoffs, it's like, wow, like, we need them to lose and them to win, and, like, all of that things happen, and it's like the Chargers never go to the playoffs. I'm not confident in it.
Yeah, I think things still have to break Trump's way. Even if he won, let's say he wins Ohio, Florida, North Carolina, he needs both New Hampshire and Nevada, or one of those other big states. And I think, it's still a decent chance that Clinton will win Michigan and Virginia. Although I'm just reading right now, New York Times forecast 55% chance Donald Trump will become president. 538, 538, I don't think has changed their count. They still have Clinton at a 73% chance. So it really is very close. Jefferson, have you been following this at all?
Oh yeah, and I believe Olivia, she brought up a good point. Like, at the beginning of the race, we see, like, today we saw a very high chance of Trump in the lead. For example, right now Trump is at 137 while Clinton is at 104. Mm-hmm. But we haven't taken account of the Western states in which our polls close, like, at 8. So that should be extremely interesting as we see this election unfold, especially with Trump getting the majority of the state in the Midwest. But then we have, like, this very hardcore liberal states like California that have lots of electoral seats. So hopefully we'll be able to see a great outcome from the Western states.
Well, that's a good point, but I also think that we already knew California, Oregon, and Washington were going to go Clinton. So I think the main swing states on the West Coast are Colorado and Nevada. Mm-hmm. And you're right; those are, like, important parts for Clinton. But I think that the fear is that if she loses a big state in her firewall, which would be Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, I think, then she really has to make that up somewhere. Florida or Ohio or North Carolina. Right now, I think she's drilling all of the states. I'm just reading in Virginia, she's down by 5,000 votes with 14% of precincts left. So that's, like, not that close. So it is very close, and she still has a good chance of winning. So it's still very close. Jefferson, did you want to talk about working for Michael Tubbs in Stockton? I know he's running for mayor there, right?
Oh yeah, totally. So currently, what we're doing is we are running a GLTV effort that's Get Out the Vote. So at the beginning of the campaign, we were going door to door, giving people the basic idea and platforms of Michael Tubbs. Michael Tubbs is up against our current mayor, Anthony Silva. So what we're doing, currently what we're doing is we're just telling people to go out. Now, there's roughly an hour and 20 minutes left of being open. So we have this program called Hub Dollar where we, it gives us the person's polling place. So, like, the next room over, it's pretty hectic since they're, like, telling people to go out and vote. And, that's what we're currently doing. But we see a good forecast of Michael Tubbs winning our local election, and it has been pretty interesting because some have compared it to the presidential elections since our opponent was putting out some negative advertisements about our and like it was interesting because instead of backfiring and pushing this entire effort against Silva, we ran a pretty clean race. We haven't really talked much about Silva. We focused on our platform and just trying to get him elected. So that's what we've been working on so far. So
wow. And can you? I was just reading a little bit about him, and he was talking about how he just could have been like another statistic, and how he's saying how it's common that young African American males, and especially in some certain areas, inner cities and stuff in Stockton, is a good example of that. They could be in jail. There's so many things that happen. And he was talking about in his video how he's kind of risen above that stereotype. Can you talk a little bit about that, if that's something that he's emphasized?
Well, Michael Tubbs, yeah, he was born in a really not as well, good neighborhood. But what he did was, he did go to Stanford and he did intern at the White House. But instead of being you mentioned being a statistic, Michael Tubbs is very connected with the community. So when he came back to Stockton, he understood that he connected with the community since he had worked with the White House. So in here in Stockton, he was able to create several coalitions, painting parks and getting the youth involved. Starting literacy programs at UOP. He became an educator here. So you mentioned, well, he has really tried on getting the community involved. So that showcases his leadership. That's what I could say in my part.
Yeah, and that's just another good example of one of the many down ballot races that are important too. It's not just Trump and Clinton. So, and then speaking of down ballot races, we have the Senate and the House elections going on right now too. It sounds like we've had some projections showing the Republicans are going to maintain the House. It's not a huge surprise. And then it also is sounding like the Republicans might keep the Senate, which it was a toss up. I think 538 had it exactly 50-50 last night. So Lisa, what do you think about that?
Well, it is expected for them to keep the House, but I believe there were some projections in which we could see a majority for. No, I don't. Sorry, those were projections. But I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of a shame since most of hopefully we don't see as much gridlock, but that does seem like it's going to happen again this upcoming term. So that's my opinion in it. Yeah,
and Lisa, I know you've been following this. What do you think the outcome will be tomorrow? Let's say Clinton is elected, but there's still a Republican Senate. How do you think that'll turn out for the future? What'll the state of the government look like?
Oh. Is this addressed to me? Or?
Yeah, or anybody.
Okay, sorry, because the audio wasn't working.
No worries, yeah.
Okay. So I feel I think having that Republican control in the Senate would actually work out very well because even though if I feel like if Trump were to win, most of the Republicans wouldn't be advocating for him, and there would be a split in the Republican Party, and that actually would further, because the Republican Party has always been traditionally split, and so if Trump were to win, it would kind of disperse them more, and if Clinton were to win, they would be more cohesive, and plus the fact that they have some control over the Senate will, I think, create a better balance or a better balance for the political party in general, and that's a good thing because then it's like a check to Democratic Party. So even like strategically and on a practical need basis, Clinton's victory would actually keep the current political party standings. She would like maintain it, I guess is the right word, because none of the parties actually support Trump because he's so out there. So I think that to keep it like normal, I think Clinton would have to be like the winner in order for that to happen,
Right.
so that there isn't like a deeper split in the Republican Party.
And speaking of Clinton, real quick, just to update you, 93.5% of the vote in Florida. It's still too close to call. Sounds like, according to 538, she might be okay. In Virginia, she's cut his lead to, I'm reading, 2,500 votes with 10% left. Sounds like she might still pull that out. Did we just lose Olivia? Oh no, Olivia's right there.
Oh, no, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah, Olivia, what are you thinking as we're still looking at the map? If you have thoughts about the Senate or about the House or just about how the election's shaping up as a whole, it's a lot closer and tighter than we thought.
Yeah, well, just kind of going off of what Lisa said, I kind of think even if Clinton wins, like it's not necessarily going to be like any kind of total victory for the Democrats because like people are really going to hate her, and like probably. I feel like a lot of the Trump supporters won't back down in like what they've been saying, and they'll just say that like she didn't win legitimately and all that. So I don't know. Just kind of agreeing or going off of what Lisa said, I think it'll just, if Trump won, it would be a completely different ball game. But with Clinton, at least we can predict that a lot of Republicans aren't going to be happy with her at all. Still.
Right.
But it's funny because you see that the Democrats tend to like stick together. Democrats will be supporting Clinton. I have that feeling that they're going to support her no matter what. But like the Republicans are usually never really set on one candidate, and they're never really working together. You get that sense from them. So I feel like the Republicans will be staunchly opposed to her, and the Republicans, most of them will be staunchly opposed to Donald Trump. So it's like either way, they're going to be pretty upset about the outcome. So,
right. Yeah, and
poor Republican Party.
Speaking of that, Paul Ryan I just read that he won re-election. I know he said he's gonna be running for speaker again, but it sounds like even no matter what happens, there's gonna be this divided Republican Party. There's gonna be Trump, and that's a lot of Republicans. And there's gonna be people like I don't know if you saw George W. Bush didn't vote for a president today. I think Romney wrote somebody in, but I could be wrong. I just know that what I heard is the only Republican nominee who's still alive that voted for Trump was Bob Dole. So it's going to be a split party. You've got Ted Cruz, you've got Marco Rubio, who these are people that are still influential, but they're not in power necessarily in terms of a president. So it's just going to be very divided. I don't know, Jonah, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying right now. I see there is a fairly significant divide between, you've got a little bit more conservative and extreme Republicans, and then you've got the little bit more moderate ones more towards the center of the line. And I wouldn't say that there's starting now to become that bit of a divide between the two, but I do see the potential for that to come, where you've got kind of extreme right wing and then you've got the more moderate Republicans. And I'm not claiming that there's going to be a full on split in the Republican Party and there's going to be three major parties, but there's definitely, I'm starting to see that divide between different regions in America, especially with kind of the more traditionally conservative people who, yes, they're still Republican, but they're not going to go out of their way to go crazy right wing. And then you've also got these people that are still able to go all the way out to the right wing. So I do see that starting to develop.
Right. Okay, I got to leave you guys because I have to go to San Bernardino, which is in California. I'm tabulating votes to report in for the Associated Press. So I need to leave. I'm going to leave you guys with Jonah, and I will be back at 8:30 when maybe we will have some closer idea of who's going to be president. It's still up in the air right now, but I will see you guys later, and hopefully you have some more stuff to talk about.
Okay.
I also have to get going. Sorry to cut you guys short. Hopefully I will be able to rejoin you guys after the results have been mentioned, but